What's going on, everybody? You're watching Thisvthattv, and you're watching my review of Problem Children Are Coming From Another World, Aren't They? Or Mondaiji-tachi ga Isekai kara Kuru so Desu yo. This is a review of the original 10 episodes and the OVA. This is a series that I was really interested in watching, but never really got around to it until the summer of 2014. The title itself was interesting enough, but after I'd read the plot summary and saw that it had received pretty good reviews, I decided to watch the series. I enjoyed watching it so much that I decided to rewatch the series last week. And while I didn't get the same amount of enjoyment from it as I did the first time I watched it, Problem Children was still a really fun series to watch. Problem Children Are Coming From Another World, Aren't They's story revolves around three humans with extraordinary abilities. These abilities make everyday life extremely boring or unfulfilling for these individuals. That was until one day they each received a mysterious letter that said that if they gave up all of their friends, family, and worldly possessions, that they would have an opportunity to test the limits of their powers. They're then transported to the world of Little Garden, a world inhabited by several different types of creatures and run by a series of supernatural events called gift games. The three humans then run into Black Rabbit, the being who summoned them to this newfound world. They quickly discover that Little Garden isn't just fun and games. Little Garden is the home of several different communities, each having its own name, flag, and status in the world. Black Rabbit is a part of the community known as the No Names because all of their status was stolen from them during a gift game against the Demon Lord. She brought these three problem children to Little Garden, hoping that they would join the No Names in their quest to regain their lost status. While I enjoyed Problem Children's story, it definitely had its flaws. The first issue I had with the story is how many things weren't fully explained or explored. The biggest question I have about the story is about the world of Little Garden itself. You're not really given much information about Little Garden other than the fact that it exists. And while they do mention something about a parallel world intersection theory, it is never explained. Little Garden also seems to have elements from different works of literature and religions. It showcases characters and tales from Shinto to the Brothers Grimm, and they never really explain how any of this works. Also, Little Garden is massive. It was estimated to be about the size of the sun, and so much of the world isn't shown or explained to us. They mention that there are several different communities and races within Little Garden, but we don't really get to see a whole lot of them, which is definitely a shame because the world itself is extremely interesting and I would have loved to learn more about it. The final issue I have with this series involves one of the series' main plot points, that being how exactly the Demon Lords forced the now No Names and others like them into a gift game where all of their status was on the line. It's another thing that was never really explained in the series. The story also doesn't come to a very satisfying conclusion. While the last episode does wrap up the events of the current conflict that was taking place, the journey of the No Names was far from over. The characters even set goals that they wanted to accomplish earlier in the series, and we never got to see those goals fulfilled. Overall, even though it was a good ending to the arc that they were in, it wasn't a good ending for the series overall, so let's just hope that they make another season. As for the OVA, extra fan service aside, it just felt like more of the same, which is a good thing. But it just served as another reminder that the story isn't really over. It never specifies whether the events in the OVA take place during or after the events of the first season, but either way, it just makes you want more. There really isn't a whole lot to say about the animation other than that it's good. Everything in the series is animated really well. The character models, background scenery, and fight scenes are all done really well. While there's nothing spectacular here, it is definitely good quality animation. Problem Children has a vast and varied soundtrack with songs that can complement any scene in the series. If the scene is tense and a little creepy, a tense and eerie song will complement it. If the scene is lighthearted and upbeat, then the soundtrack will provide us with a lighthearted and upbeat song to complement it as well. The soundtrack features songs that have a good amount of replayability and are complemented by a solid opening and an incredibly catchy ending. The series stars four main characters, the three problem children, Yukasa Kabe, Asuka Kodo, and Izuyoi Sakamaki, and the person that summoned them to Little Garden, Black Rabbit. As mentioned earlier, all three of the problem children have special abilities that make their lives boring or unfulfilling, which is why they were invited to Little Garden. During the course of the series, you'll start to understand why each of the characters has decided to come to Little Garden, and you'll start to see them grow as characters. Initially, the characters might just seem like incredibly basic and one-dimensional characters, but as the series progresses, you'll start seeing that there is more to them. That being said, there really isn't a massive amount of character development, especially for Black Rabbit and Izuyoi. Those two characters also happen to be the ones that we get the least amount of background information about. All of the characters are likable and enjoyable to watch. The characters have different personalities and they all work well together, and it made their interactions with each other entertaining to watch as well. For example, Black Rabbit is easily flustered, and even though Yu, Asuka, and Izuyori are taking on the huge responsibility of rebuilding an entire community, they are still problem children. They are constantly doing things that Black Rabbit doesn't approve of, which kind of creates this sort of friendly conflict and creates some very funny moments during the series. There are a decent amount of side characters in this series, and for the most part they're given a decent amount of screen time and at least a little bit of background information. I really enjoyed watching Problem Children Come From Another World, aren't they? The story was interesting, the animation sounded really well done, and the characters were very likable and enjoyable to watch. I'm really hoping for a second season so that I can see how the story ends. Here is the verdict and breakdown out of 5. Story 3.6, animation 4, sound 4.3, characters 3.7, enjoyment 4.1, for a final verdict of 3.9 out of 5. Problem Children Are Coming From Another World, aren't they? Is a very good series that'll keep you entertained from beginning to end. I'd like to thank everybody for watching this far, and if you have seen the series, please let me know what you guys thought in the comment section down below. If you guys have liked the video, please like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. You click the annotation on the screen right now and it will take you to my previous video. And I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you guys later.